Good Wednesday morning, everyone. Welcome back. You're watching the Kaiser Report one more time. We're coming to you today from the studio. Kaiser and I are here to talk to you about a few things that are going on that may or may not be slightly aggravating to most. But it's this poll situation where it's been found out that some of mainstream media has gone to these lackluster polls of, maybe 2,500 people, and they make sure that a very small percentage of these people were Trump voters in some cases and so on, so they could malign the 100-day celebrations that were going on among the Republican side of things, which we all know what the accomplishments and the failures have been. There's been really no failures when you stop and think about it, because what he had said that he was going to do is well underway, and in some cases not complete yet because it takes time to negotiate, especially with this tariff situation that's going on. But what they failed to report to you is that it's been very profitable for us so far, because these other countries are now going to have to come to the table and realize that trade with us is a very, very important part of their economy, such as the Chinese economy, which is right now underreported, but in very dire straits when you come down to think about what is actually happening in China, with the goods being stalled off for purchase. They can retaliate, of course, as they say they will, but this is all part of a negotiation. So let's stop telling people there, Chuck Schumer and the like, that prices are going or escalating out of sight. Prices are starting to come down. Fuel prices have come down for those people that were heating with oil this past winter and suffered the high prices left over by the Biden-Harris administration and their reluctance to let the oil manufacturers work, and cutting down pipelines and cutting off fossil fuels for the sake of windmills and electric power grids that are unsustainable with the amount of energy that will be needed for the future of AI, number one, and number two, with the amount of electric vehicles that are now hitting the road, such as Tesla and every other foreign manufacturer that has fell into the trap of electric cars without an infrastructure to allow you to enjoy them as you go along through your life of electric vehicles. There's nothing wrong with an electric vehicle, but you have to have the infrastructure behind it to make sure that you have enough of a power grid to handle all of this. AI will be a tremendous user of electricity, and we have to have an infrastructure set up to handle this, which is one of the priorities for this administration when he talks about getting our infrastructure for electricity back in line where it should be. Whether or not it will be nuclear powered or powered by some new invention that could come out from, who knows, SpaceX, any place that is working on this, which there are several. And this supercomputer business is the thing of the future, and we're looking at how we can better serve the companies that will bring this to us with regard to infrastructure. Yes, we have some stalling, but I would look at Congress, especially the left side of Congress, for the holdups on some of these things, such as the tax cuts that need to be made permanent, and also this beautiful big new bill is being again fooled with because Congress is out on the steps of the Capitol building acting like morons, almost on their way to stupid town, I guess, because they make no sense. And if you're going to sit there and listen to a bunch of foreigners that are infiltrated our Congress, and the likes of Hakeem Jeffries and that liar Spartacus, it's incredible on what they have made a mess of in the last few weeks or months, actually, where their reticence to go along with anything Trump-related is costing America precious time and holding back what will happen good for middle America, you and I, and everyone else that it depends on the Congress doing the job that they were elected to go in and perform, which they have dropped the ball on hugely because they cannot get over the fact that they tried to perpetrate on us a person who had no wherewithal, never mind to do the vice presidential job, but they tried to sneak her through as a presidential candidate, and now I understand that she's selling $25 pay-per-view to hear her next campaign speech because she has decided that she is going to run along the lines of trying to win a primary that will be coming up on the Democratic Party in 2028. So she feels she has 4 years to compile enough word salad to get through whatever primary, if they even have a primary. But there's an awful lot of people, we'll talk a little later here in this broadcast, that think that they're going to be on the ticket and get top billing. It's a circus at best, and that's what we have to look at. But the media continues lying to us about these polls. These polls that have been taken are skewed polls at best, and they have lied to us in the past about polls. Just think back to the November election where Rachel Maddow was out saying that, the polls show that she is so far ahead in Idaho, and that's a trusted poll, so on and so on. Well, how trusted was it when it turns out that he won the state handily, not just by a couple of votes, folks? It was an out-and-out lie by MSNBC, CNN, and all of the other media programs and platforms that lied to us about polls in the past. So why should you believe the polls now that are coming out saying that everyone is discontented with their vote for Donald Trump? It's just the opposite of anything. And when you talk to the correct people, the 77 million people that voted for Donald Trump will tell you very plain and simply, no, we're not unhappy. We're very happy watching what goes on. Those signs in the driveway going up to the West Wing are a telling situation of exactly who we're getting out of this country. And then we have all of these placed judges that were packed in there by the Obama administration as well as the Biden administration to do the bidding of the DNC, which is at war with itself right now. Just ask the Ragin' Cajun. He'll tell you. But all this poll information, they just lie about this. Take a look here.
I love Venn diagrams. I really love Venn diagrams. The circles, right?
We are still in a news environment in which there are good polls. And particularly where in some states there is a gold standard pollster who appears to be unaffected by larger dynamics that are making everybody whine about the polls. And the reason those individual pollsters get the gold standard designation is both because of their proven sound methodology, but also because of their track record over time in that particular jurisdiction. And the prototypical example of a gold standard poll is the Iowa poll done by Ann Selzer, by J. Ann Selzer in Iowa. The polls that she produces for the Des Moines Register in Iowa, specifically the final Iowa polls she does before each major election, her polls are known for their uncanny predictive accuracy. This is that poll, and it is a shock result. It shows Kamala Harris ahead of Donald Trump by 3 points in Iowa. We have a very different race on our hands than we thought we did.
The next day,
former President Trump will win the state of Iowa. Trump is performing well in rural areas, which helped deliver victories to former President Trump in 2016 and 2020. This obviously comes in the wake of a lot of focus on a poll that shall not be named.
Give me a second.
Because these people have gone stone cold crazy. But I've beaten them all my life, and I'll beat them again if I have to.
Very provocative headline there. Are things falling apart for Trump? I don't know, but let's look. Let's look at the evidence from the Post tonight. Multiple polls this week showed Trump hitting new lows. His approval rating has been double digits underwater in surveys from the Pew Research Center, where he's minus 19, the Economist YouGov poll, where he's minus 13, the Reuters Ipsos poll, where he's minus 11, and now Fox News, where he is also minus 11. Trump was already more unpopular at this point in his presidency than any modern president not named Donald Trump.
Liar. Liar.
He's now flirting with falling below where he was even at this point in his historically unpopular first term. So yeah, what was that? What was the headline in the Post tonight again? Are things falling apart for Trump? Yep. Yep. On every front.
Really?
You don't expect to have so much going on and so many things that the administration said they were going to do actually happen.
Pam Barnes from Montgomery County voted for President Trump.
Are you happy with your choice?
I am. I am totally excited. Everybody I know is excited. My biggest issue is the border, and he's killing it. Well, absolutely everybody that's here illegally should go. I'm not one of these that, oh, the poor person. No, they need to go. They came in illegally.
That girl got game.
Border crossings are down 99%. I spoke with President Trump on Sunday. He told me 3 people were apprehended at the border in the month of April, compared with 248,000
it's remarkable.
In the month last year, 1 year ago. That's the migration and immigration story. Now let's take a look at inflation. You and I talked about eggs a long time ago. The price of eggs are down 50%. Look at where mortgage rates are down. Look at oil prices are down. So when you take a look at what President Trump said that he was going to do, it is a huge success in terms of these first 100 days.
How are you feeling about the start of this administration and what has happened so far?
He's doing exactly what I hired him for. I think it's great. I'm patient. I know that the tariff thing is going to take a little time. They're deporting the illegal aliens, the criminals. Eggs have gotten cheaper. Everything else has gotten cheaper. I feel safer.
So yeah, what was that? What was the headline in the Post tonight again? Are things falling apart for Trump? Yep. Yep. On every front.
They continue to lie about polls constantly. So you cannot go by or trust anything that mainstream media is putting out to you with regard to the first 100 days and how people feel about it. Somehow it continues all along one more time with the mental breakdowns that we're seeing among the Democratic constituency, as well as the people that are sitting in power or think that they can get back into power from past performances. which we all know now was a cover-up of a mentally disabled president that was not capable of carrying out the position of President of the United States. Now we have one that works 18 hours a day on your behalf every day. And yes, does he bloviate? Of course. We didn't elect him for his particular prowess of personality. We know that. We know that he's liable to say and pretty much do anything to get your attention and my attention, and he has it. And he has the attention of the world right now. And make no mistake, polls aside, that this man is doing the job that we elected him to do, and so is his appointees that are sitting in cabinet positions right now and doing a wonderful job. And that includes Mr. Elon Musk and the Doge people that have given up their time from their walk of life to come in for 130 days and figure out how we can get away without all of the waste and misspending that's happening with your tax dollars, and why Congress is spending money like drunken sailors to foreign countries and for ideologic programs that make no sense to anyone. I don't care what country, what planet you live on. Some of these things that we've paid millions of dollars out for are absolutely ludicrous. There is no reason to have spent that kind of money and just willy-nilly just assign an NGO to a monthly check for a contract that may or may not being processed properly. Or checks and balances put on these NGOs that are garnering all of these dollars to do these programs that we have no idea what the end result is or if it has even been performed. This continues to go on, and it goes on, and the Democrats would like to see it continue uninterrupted by this man that they now want to impeach one more time. And why we have the amount of foreign bodies sitting in our Congress with ideas that are anti-American is beyond any understanding that I have. But it continues, and the mental breakdowns are obvious right in our own Congress. If you want to take a minute to look at the fact that they're out sitting on the steps of the Capitol like morons and accomplishing nothing but running down the 100-day progress that this country has made under this administration. Let's take a look at this.
Have a beautiful time.
Donald Trump has already done real damage to our democracy, but defying a unanimous 9-0 Supreme Court ruling, that has to be the final straw. It's time we impeach Donald J. Trump.
I appreciate what hard work looks like. I like working hard. And I'm still working hard, right? The moment that everything sells out, it doesn't mean that we're done.
We had a president that couldn't walk up a flight of stairs, couldn't walk down a flight of stairs, couldn't walk across the stage without falling. We had a president that was grossly incompetent. You knew it, I knew it, and everybody knew it, but you guys didn't want to write it because you're fake news.
All right. Thank you.
And by the way, ABC is one of the worst. I have to be honest with you.
Thank you.
He's already dead.
Oh, well. You can't make these things up. It's fun every day to go on to the memes and the satire that is put out. They have a multitude. It's a target-rich environment, folks. That's the only thing I can say. They provide not only the lunacy but the laughs that you have to look at and unpacking some of the nonsense that they're trying to make us believe that we all made a mistake and that they're coming back. They're going to get in power and they're going to destroy everything that Donald Trump is doing. This is exactly what happened the last time that he lost the election, supposedly, to Joe Biden, who came in and unpacked everything that was put in place to help us. And he inherited a very decent economy, even though COVID was in its infant stages. And then they mismanaged COVID under Biden so badly that it ruined the educational process in this country. It ruined our acceptance across the world stage as being a leader in anything. They knew we had a weak president, so we had an invasion into the Ukraine. We have the emboldened Hamas figures that are going out and killing people and caused a war. This all took place under the tutelage of Biden and Harris, and never forget that. She's coming out again saying that she's going to run in 2028, and she's now trying to put together I guess it's like a podcast that she's going to do and selling pay-per-view so you can see it, her packing in some more word salad to try and skirt what's coming up in the election process, which will have to be a primary unless they decide, like in the last run that she was running for, that they weren't going to have a primary when Biden dropped out, which should have taken place but didn't. So whether they're going to skip the primary or not, but I don't see it happening because we have quite the registration list to run for president on the Democratic ticket in 2028. Let's just count that down. You've got AOC now is in the ticket. She wants to run for president. That ought to be really amusing. And then you have Harris that's coming back. You've got Bernie probably will try it. He's not saying that he's not. That's another interesting thing. I will not run for president again because I'm too old and I need to spend my money so I can be an oligarch. Yeah, right, Bernie. And then you've got Hakeem Jeffries and that idiot Spartacus that is out rearing his head almost daily now, organizing a fake filibuster, sitting on the steps of the Capitol with his best friend Hakeem, trying to convince you that Trump bad, we good, and making no sense, by the way, because they have no platform, they have no plan, they never did, and they continue on.
Well, I'll guarantee you'll never be a member here.
And then we have Pritzker, that donut-eating character that cannot run the state of Illinois, never mind want to run this country, along with the other worst governor in the world, Gavin Newsom, who has totally destroyed a beautiful, profitable state and turned it into a free-for-all for anything and everything. And he believes, because he has great hair, that he's going to run. And then we have probably Cuomo, and who knows what will line the stage if it takes place. It will be the most amusing primary debates that you can ever. I want to sell tickets to that.
This town needs an enema.
Because that will sell. Because you cannot put that many people or take that many people from stupid town and put them up to run against whoever the Republicans, and I would assume it will be J.D. Vance that will step into place, but I'm sure because the president cannot run again. He's just trolling the Democrats with these hats saying 2028, and that's not going to happen, folks. The media wants to scare the heck out of you, but again, the media thrives on your fears, and if you allow them to make you afraid and listen to what they say, you're going to make poor decisions and use incorrect thinking as your barometer for the upcoming midterms and then the 2028 election. So they'll talk to you all the time about packing courts and how bad it is that Trump just wants to pack the local courts and he wants to get rid of some people that are there. And packing courts was the program developed by the Democrats. Just look at the courts being packed by Obama all through his presidency. And then it continued through with Biden, packing the courts with ultra-liberal judges that will carry the Democratic signs and processes that they're asked to carry for the DNC to make sure that they can get back in power. And this is what's going on, what you're looking at right now with the courts holding up the processes that we need to make this country great again. And we have these federal judges sitting on local benches that think that they can rule from those benches and just bypass Article 2 completely because they deem that it has to be done their way, not the president's way. That's not how our Constitution was set up. And mainstream media forgets to tell you those parts. They just tell you the interesting parts to push the Democratic side and Trump bad. Trump has to be bad or the news media will just implode on itself, which it is. If you think about the numbers, if you look at the numbers in comparison to Fox and then platforms on this channel or this platform and Rumble and Truth Social and Reddit and places of that nature where you can go and get decidedly correct opinions or at least an opposite opinion than what the news is trying to make you afraid of. They want you, and the Democratic Party is along with this, wants you in fear of everything. They want you to be uncomfortable. They want you to be divided, and they live on the division, whether it's through color, race, or whatever they can come up with to divide this country. They will continue to do it. Just listen to what they're saying on the steps of the courthouse, and then you'll realize that the division is there. You're looking at two people. When you look at Booker and you look at Jeffries, you're looking at two of the biggest racists that are in our Congress today, And they're being joined by the other minions in there in the Democratic Party that are being pushed up to have their voices heard, because the people behind this utilize the foreigners in our Congress to go out and take the hits. You don't see Schumer and Pelosi and those other people that are what I determine as the elites of the party putting themselves too much in harm's way, although Nancy is kind of finished now, and she just doesn't want to admit to it, but she's imploded, and she's not relevant anymore, and I believe she's getting the clue now that she's not. But we have some characters inside the Democratic Party, as well as we have some characters on the Republican side that need a second look at when they become part of a primary, and get rid of them, because they're not helping us. And the amount of foreigners that are being pushed into this Congress is a worrisome thought process for me, because I don't like to see what I'm seeing in some cases. Especially when you look at AOC going down a hallway like yesterday saying that she is ready to run in 2028. Well, we'll see how this anti-American person can actually believe. I guess it's the greatness of this country that has always been here. Anyone can grow up to be president of the United States. But usually you have to have accomplished something or made your bones to get to that point, not come out of a bartender in the Bronx and think that you're important enough to run for the president of the United States based on what you know. Well, look right here.
Up. We heard just recently with Congressman Trahan's amendment that we don't need any of these amendments to take our word, that the word has been given, that Medicaid is going to be protected, to trust us that no one is going to be affected by this. But as a woman...
What is a woman?
That sounds like a loaded...
The word was given to me that my rights would not be taken away by the Supreme Court, and that wasn't true. As an American, the word was given that our First Amendment protections would be in place.
All right, listen, okay, listen.
For everyone, including green card holders and people who are lawfully here in this country. That didn't end up to be true.
And that's pretty much what she will do as president, or in a primary to run for president. They'll eat her up. And unless we're going to vote for the best teeth, you look at Harris and her, and they're all teeth and giggles and of no substance whatsoever, without any plans, without any idea of how to be the CEO of a candy store, never mind a country of this magnitude. So they're still making noise over the Maryland man over and over again, and even in an interview that was conducted by ABC, Donald Trump had to set them straight. Now they're trying to say that the symbols on his fist were photoshopped. There's many photos of him with his family and so on that they've been showing you what a great family man he is. And it's there, it's evident, you can see it. We know he's a member of MS-13. There's never been a doubt about it, but the media still wants to push a narrative that this guy was just a great, all-around father and just an innocent Maryland man. So there you go. There's ABC. the mainstream media from Stupid Town trying to get a point across to a guy that is not going to sit still for their lies or their attempts at convincing you what you have seen you didn't see. That's the DNC, and that's their plan for getting back in power, because they cannot stand the fact that they have lost their mojo, and they don't have anyone to put up there to make you and I get excited. I'll tell you what I would have gotten excited about in this last election had they let RFK Jr. run like he wanted to. They would have had a candidate that could have won the presidency. But no, they had to malign him to a point where he left the party and went as an independent, and then we all know that he decided to make sure that he could help in the resurrection of the United States as it was prior to Obama and his destructive attitudes, plans, and his hope for a change to a Saul Alinsky government, which, thank God, did not happen or continue to build under Biden, who was probably not making the decisions. Someone with an auto pen was making those decisions behind our back, while the media, complicit in all of this, hid it from us, the population. And when we started to see through the opaque screen that was put up and see behind the curtain, we made our choice on November 5th, 2024, for a better government, a better idea. And it's taking place now rapidly through the first 100 days that the Democrats are trying to run down and put under their thumb, because they don't like the progress that is being made, and they threw every roadblock they could in his way, and he's leaped over every one. Now, I please, dear God, help Congress come to their senses and pass this one big, beautiful bill that is needed to get our economy spurred and on its way up the ladder of success and bring back America one more time in the world's eyes and head for Mars next. And with that, we'll take a visit here to Stupid Town one time, and we'll get right back to you.
The Supreme Court said the administration must facilitate the return of Kilmar Abrego Garcia, who was mistakenly deported to El Salvador. That has not happened. Are we at the point, Senator, where you feel extraordinary action is warranted?
If the president disobeys a Supreme Court order, extraordinary action will be necessary. We've never had that in the Republic before.
When you've heard the news this afternoon, a couple hours ago, what did you think?
I think we've been preparing and anticipating for there being these egregious overreaches by members of the judiciary appointed by a right-wing Republican Party whose goal for a very long time was to just pack these courts with partisan judges, often underqualified or completely unqualified. I believe that the Biden administration should ignore this ruling. What they are currently doing is engaged in an unprecedented and dramatic erosion of the legitimacy of the courts. It is the justices themselves, through the deeply partisan and unfounded nature of these rulings, that are undermining their own enforcement.
So you're saying the Biden administration should ignore this court, What does that look like? What does that actually mean?
You know, I think the interesting thing when it comes to a ruling is that it relies on enforcement. And it is up to the Biden administration to choose whether or not to enforce such a ruling.
If the president disobeys a Supreme Court order, extraordinary action will be necessary.
The Democrats have to get their act together. These people are sick. There's something wrong.
Well, that's all the news that is fit to talk about today. It's a lot, but we have gotten through it, and we wish you all a very happy hump day. It's Wednesday. We're getting prepared one more time for a weekend, and as I tell you all the time, if you're interested in doing a barbecue this weekend or just putting in some quality meat for your family, keep our sponsor, Lazy J Farms and Butcher Shop, located in Kingsport, Tennessee, on Bloomingdale Road, in mind. Give them a call today or early tomorrow for any special cuts you want. I like my porterhouse steaks 1 3/4 inch. He'll cut those for you in any fashion you want. They have farm-raised blonde Aquitaine cattle for your beef products, and they raise their own pork, and it is wonderful. Their ribs are to die for. Their baby back ribs are so succulent and tender. If you low cook those, you're going to have a real feast, or put them on the smoker. They're quality meats. They have eggs, they have cheese, and their chicken, farm-raised, great chicken with no growth hormones and no antibiotics. So it's good for you, and it's good for your family, too. So give them a call today. Ask for Butch. Tell them that Kaiser sent you, and they'll ship it to you if you're not local, anywhere in the United States, flash frozen overnight. So give them a call today. Place your order, and they'll be happy that you're their client, and you'll be happy because it's the best that you've ever tasted. So with that, we're going to say have a great rest of this Wednesday. Go out, get some sunshine, fresh air, breathe in God's green world, and pray every day for this administration, and pray for peace across the land as you go through your day. Make an effort to help someone else, smile at someone, bring happiness wherever you walk today. God bless you all, and remember, stay safe, stay strong, and stay tuned to the Kaiser Report for further commentary and a look around Appalachia. Bye-bye now.